First of all, thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure.
Great. So, one of the topic what we have chosen is starting a business from scratch. Especially, we have specific marketing explore but again, they have a lot of ideas, a lot of things that have tried and also failed. And I'm pretty sure idea FemiSafe brand, you have tried a couple of different things and also process that right? So we just want to give them an insight or like a journey through how to build a business from scratch. So where do we start from?
I think you should start a business with something which actually fuels you, which can actually drive you in the long run. Business is it won't go further. So FemiSafe Naseef is the branding and marketing person and I'm the product person. So there is a balance. So the product decided we both mutually decide on one product where I bring the idea. Marketing ideas it's from him. So I think
I think you should have a non-monetary purpose. As paisa illatha goal business thodangumundavana. Money is your only goal. Korchu kayumbum you'll get tired, you'll get bored, you'll get burnt out. So a non-monetary a solid purpose and it will be easier. But the obstacle we can actually handle it. Purpose and
okay, so business we all have ideas, right? We think this could be a good idea or this could be a good idea, should I go with this or doubt and all. So how do you, I think first step would be validating your idea, right? So how do you validate your idea? For example, FemiSafe case it is a very non-mainstream niche that you're focusing on, right? Especially maybe before even pre-COVID, menstrual cups it was not even heard of, right? Even after that, awareness and even it's just a growing industry or a growing phase. And there is no concept like this. It was an entirely different way of menstrual hygiene or another. So how did you validate the idea? Because again, ideas problem definitely execution but still ideas matter also, right?
First thing, before I tell the validation method, we try and the work out. It's the most obvious thing in the world. That's why successful failed ventures successfully. Not because they are idiots or not because they don't have enough intelligence. It's like the best example is swimming. We YouTube same thing with the business. Validate unless you do something, then you won't know. FemiSafe in the case validation actually over validate to be honest. Experience for us it was like we found the mission was good. But if we felt the timing was good actually. Pre-COVID, nobody used to talk about menstruation. Sanitary pads and disposal problems COVID sanitary workers pad shortage, lot of new things came. Self-awareness COVID that's skin care brands, self-pampering brands COVID pick self-conscious. Take care and time COVID time self-care concept normalize COVID I feel like timing was right. Periods self-care important. Auxiliary opportunities. People time over time. We are in the game for long run, right? In the it will work out in the hope.
Anything to add?
So my thought process is actually don't sell something that you wouldn't buy or use. So menstrual cup in a case, I have been using it from past since I was 19, 20, since I was in college. So in product faith in that. So I had that conviction and I don't have even extra validation. But if I would launch, if we are launching a product that I have no clue about, then I might need validation from a third person. So I think the product conviction half the validation is done there. Then the rest is some products might fail, some products might be a success. Always have the mindset to pivot at any point. So I think number validation, it was between, because I was using the product, so a validation dialogue. You were like, okay, maybe we can make a brand out of it because he was good at branding. So we just started, and then we put in every single day. It was more like ഓരോ ദിവസം നമ്മൾ ഇടുന്ന എഫേർട്ട് that actually ഒരു cumulative ആയിട്ടാണ് അതിന്റെ റിസൾട്ട് വരുന്നത്. So yeah, that's how we
initially idea you have it, like you decided, okay, now like you're going to start it, you're going to work on it, right? So what are the first set of challenges that you faced?
Before I want to add one more to the last point. So if I would start again, I would first check if there is enough market size.
Okay.
അത് നമ്മളന്ന് we didn't know enough. ഇപ്പോൾ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യുകയാണെങ്കിൽ I would check if there is enough market size. You can always pivot. നമ്മൾ ഐഡിയാസ് എപ്പോൾ വേണമെങ്കിൽ ചേഞ്ച് ചെയ്യാം. സോ ഇറ്റ്സ് ഓക്കെ. The best thing is to get started. നമ്മൾ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്ത് നമുക്ക് എന്ത് വേണമെങ്കിൽ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. Unless you start, you can't do anything. നമ്മൾ multiple times fail ആയാലേ we'll get the right path and stuff. So yeah.
Okay, so the first set of challenges that you face, when you start, again, as I said, awareness in that market size is very small. There are big brands who are already big players, who are established players, and you're basically little in the, you have to start from the scratch. It's like, okay, there is something like this, and you have to educate people. Then again, you have to push them, and you have to give them alternatives. So many things are there, right? And first of all, again, it's like you do initially this. Again, courage challenges in when it comes to production, or maybe importing, exporting, or building a team, funds, and all of that, right? So, what is the first set of challenges that you faced initially?
I think the biggest challenge was, one is the topic we have chosen. അതായത് we were not operating from a high polished crowd like Mumbai or Delhi. നമ്മളെ നാട്ടിൻപുറത്തെ ആൾക്കാരെടുത്താണ് സംസാരിച്ചത്. ആ സമയത്ത് പല ആൾക്കാർക്കും അതായത് ഒരു വെബ്സൈറ്റിൽ നിന്ന് വാങ്ങിക്കാൻ പോലും അറിയുന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. പീപ്പിൾ യൂസ് ടു കമൻറ്റ് ഇല്ല, എനിക്ക് വാങ്ങാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല, ഗൂഗിൾ പേ നമ്പർ തരൂ. ദാറ്റ് വാസ് എ ക്രൗഡ് വി ഡീലിംഗ് വിത്ത്. ഇങ്ങനത്തെ ആൾക്കാർക്കാണ് നമ്മൾ മെൻസ്ട്രൽ കപ്പിനെ കുറിച്ച്, മെൻസ്ട്രേഷനെ കുറിച്ച് പറഞ്ഞു കൊടുക്കേണ്ടത്. സെക്കൻഡ് തിങ്, വി ഡിഡ്ന്റ് ഹാവ് എനി ക്രെഡിബിലിറ്റി ഇൻ ദാറ്റ് ഫീൽഡ്. നമ്മൾ തുടങ്ങിയപ്പോൾ ഇറ്റ് വാസ് ജസ്റ്റ് ടു റാൻഡം പീപ്പിൾ. നമുക്കിതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് പറയാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് വെൻ വി ടോക്ക് അബൌട്ട് ഓൾ ദിസ് ടോപ്പിക്, നിങ്ങൾ ആരാന്ന് ചോദിക്കും. സോ ദാറ്റ് ലാക്ക് ഓഫ് ക്രെഡിബിലിറ്റി, ലാക്ക് ഓഫ് റിസോഴ്സസ്. നമ്മൾ കല്യാണം കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് വി ആക്ച്വലി ഗോട്ട് മാരീഡ് ഇൻ കാലിക്കറ്റ്. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് നമ്മൾ കൊച്ചി പോയി. ആക്ച്വലി നമ്മളടുത്ത് ഒരു പൈസ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല ആ ടൈമിൽ. ഐ ജസ്റ്റ് ഹാഡ് 1 credit card. അതിൻ്റെ കുറച്ച് ലിമിറ്റ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. വി സ്റ്റാർട്ടഡ് വിത്ത് ദാറ്റ്. സോ ലാക്ക് ഓഫ് റിസോഴ്സസ് പ്ലസ് ലാക്ക് ഓഫ് ക്രെഡിബിലിറ്റി. നമുക്കൊരു ടീമിന് ഹയർ ചെയ്യാൻ ശമ്പളം കൊടുക്കാനുള്ള പൈസ പോലും ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. സോ ഇനീഷ്യലി ഫസ്റ്റ് 4-5 months ഇറ്റ് വാസ് ജസ്റ്റ് മീ ആൻഡ് ഹർ. വി യൂസ് ടു പാക്ക്, വി യൂസ് ടു ഡീൽ വിത്ത് കസ്റ്റമർ സപ്പോർട്ട്. ഞാൻ കുറച്ച് പെർഫോമൻസ് മാർക്കറ്റിംഗ് മുമ്പ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് ഐ യൂസ് ടു നോ സം ഹൗ ടു റൺ ആഡ്സ് ആൻഡ് എവറിത്തിങ്. വി ഡിസ്കവർഡ് ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസർ മാർക്കറ്റിംഗ് ഓൺ റോൺ. ഒരുപാട് കാര്യങ്ങൾ നമ്മൾ തന്നെ ചെയ്തു. അപ്പോൾ അതിൻ്റെതായ ഒരു challenges ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. First thing was topic, and second thing was lack of resources.
Back then, people were actually not taking us seriously. They were like, oh, to young people, because we were like 24, 26 when we got married, 2020, peak COVID. We started this. So when we initially, it's a very funny story. So initially, when we were starting FemiSafe, we had listed down, okay, for 100-200 friends. Because first, initially, നമ്മൾ ഒരു ബ്രാൻഡ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് സപ്പോർട്ട് എന്തായാലും ഫ്രണ്ട്സ് ആൻഡ് ഫാമിലി ആണ്. അതൊരു ഷോപ്പ് ആണെങ്കിലും, if it's a cafe or whatever it is. So me and Naseef, we both had listed down ഒരു 50-100 names of our friends, sure shot buyers. So അവർ വാങ്ങിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ പിന്നെ word of mouth ആവുന്നുള്ളൊരു thought process നമുക്ക്. And he was too optimistic. He was like, okay, first month then we're going to sell around 100-200 menstrual cups, and other than that, majority will be from our friends and family. When we launched, we just spread the word. We told our friends to share stories because Instagram was, the hype then, and even now. But out of those 50-100 people whom we had actually jotted down, how many of them actually bought?
3 of them.
Hardly 3 of them. Okay. So there we were like, okay, even our friends and family don't trust, because my mom, I converted her to using menstrual cups. So she was also, it was very hard to convince her because she was very skeptic. They're going to use him. And our family, they were very skeptic about us. Like, ആരും ടച്ച് ചെയ്യാത്ത ഒരു ടോപ്പിക് നിങ്ങൾ ടച്ച് ചെയ്തിട്ട് how much time is it going to take for you guys to to expand? So those 3 or 4 friends who bought, like out of the 50-100 friends whom we had shortlisted, അവിടെ തന്നെ നമുക്ക് കോൺഫിഡൻസ് പോയി. ബിക്കോസ് നമ്മുടെ ഫ്രണ്ട്സ് ഫാമിലി പോലും വായിക്കുന്നില്ലെങ്കിൽ how will public buy this? As he said, we had no credibility because ഞാൻ personally യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്, but other I can tell to maybe 5 people, 10 people. How am I going to address 100 audience or 100 people in an audience? അത് ഭയങ്കര ചാലഞ്ച് ആയിരുന്നു. അതേപോലെ ഇനിഷ്യലി നമ്മൾ കൊച്ചിയിൽ പോയ സമയത്ത് ലൈക്ക് വി വർ ജസ്റ്റ് മാരിഡ്, സോ ഒബ്വിയസ്ലി ഫ്രണ്ട്സ് യൂസ് ടു കോൾ us how's married life. So when his friends used to ask him like നീ എന്താ ചെയ്യുന്നത്, so he used to be like ഇങ്ങനെ brand and FemiSafe. So his friends used to think that he's actually supporting his wife for her home business. That was their thought process. Because menstrual cups, why are men talking about it? My friends used to think that Naseef in a business aana. Yeah, like after all my household chores, I used to go and help him with FemiSafe. So that was the mindset people had, and people were not taking us seriously. His friends used to ask him, "Nee satyayitidano cheyyunnathu. Nee
വേറൊന്നും ചെയ്യുന്നില്ലേ വേറൊന്നും
like,
ചെയ്യുന്നില്ലേ
you guys are not doing anything else. Like, you guys are doing fancy. We're like, yes, we are doing this. Even our parents, every time when they come to coaching to visit us, when they see us, packing, because initially I think we had around 5 to 10 orders for first few weeks. And I think how many customers did we have in the first
So
months?
I think first 2 months we had only 50 customers.
Yeah.
From there in next 2 years we grew to 50,000 plus
50,000
customers. So that was something, that first phase is always difficult. So if you don't give up there, you will get through, I
Like,
feel.
we used to wake up in the morning, I used to do the packing, he used to print the labels and everything. Everything, like, normally, apartment, we have a dining table. So that was a workspace. And we actually divided it into two retail. Like, one side was basically for food and stuff, and the other side was, for monitor. He had this big monitor. So I used to tell, okay, now we have to partition it. And there was a bedroom that we used for all our warehouse, storage, stuffs and all, tape and everything. So morning 10 o'clock we used to get up. I used to put the tape and everything. He used to go to India Post. Like, we used to have those cloth bags. It hardly 10-20 orders. Every alternate days we used to go and we used to ship it. So that is how we set up. When our parents used to see us, they're like, why are you guys, struggling, Nandina? You guys can take corporate jobs. So no one took us seriously. That was the biggest challenge. For example, every point of company was some second, people are like, oh, because there's already sanitary pads. So that our shift of thought process was actually a big problem for us when it came to our audience. But yeah, it changed.
Nobody thought it would become big. That's
Yeah.
I think that's.
I think it needed a lot of validation. Our thought process. ഇപ്പോൾ മാറി പക്ഷെ കുറേ ടൈം എടുത്തു ആ മൈൻഡ് സെറ്റ് മാറി കിട്ടാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട്.
And influencer marketing, നമ്മൾ initially അത് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. Because back then, 2020, for a budding influencers in there who actually wanted at least maybe 1 or 2 products from some brands. Our career started. So that's helped. So I think till now we've done with around 500 plus influencers.
Okay.
So influencer marketing has actually helped.
Okay,
us.
so actually I really want to pivot into like the same set, like marketing and awareness. It's a D2C brand, and again COVID time, logistical issue.
Yeah.
First thing. Second thing is, again, already it's a skeptical product, right? Online again, you have to people have to trust to buy, right? Second thing. Another thing is like creating awareness from the scratch for a product that nobody knows exists. Another thing. As you said, like 50 to 50,000 products or like customers in 2 years, right? That's a scale that you have created, right? So what are the strategy that you planned for creating awareness, 2 for increasing your sales side, and also 3 making sure that you don't go like bankrupt because because as you're operating from home, like warehouse and everything, you're doing it, right? So eventually, as the orders coming in, like you have to think of it. Oh, like I need someone to pack this, I need someone to do this. Maybe like performance marketing, someone else you will have to think about like initially branding and all is not a big thing that you need to focus on, right? Then you will automatically think, okay, now the brand is growing. I have to focus on packing, the colors, the fonts that we use, the support that we give. The website and everything, right? So how was the strategy that you set? 1 for the branding purpose, 2 for the marketing, 3 for the sales to create, especially it's as it was completed through a website, I guess, and 4 getting it. Yeah.
First thing, I'll start with awareness part. So what we did was like we wanted to always, since day one, we wanted to do big scale awareness programs offline and online. But on the COVID end, we couldn't for a long time. So we were actually waiting for an opportunity to interact with people. Noureen is very passionate in teaching people about menstruation, menstrual cups. We almost 1 year waiting to get one opportunity. And then somebody has seen a content on Instagram. Instagram since day one we are doing, because that's the only tool that was available to us.
Yeah. Like on Instagram we follow no filter conversation, because that is actually ended first one when it comes to periods, when it comes to all these controversial taboo topics. I'm more of a no filter person, because I think other so Instagram we used to if you scroll on Instagram page, you can see the posts that we had made in earlier days, like maybe ഇപ്പം ആണ് കുറച്ചും കൂടി പോളിഷ് ആയത്. അന്ന് we only used to do. So അന്ന് the topic അല്ലെങ്കിൽ tone was this same because I was very passionate to talk about it. അങ്ങനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ട്
അങ്ങനെ നമ്മൾ അന്ന് തൊട്ട് വാട്ട് എവർ വാസ് അവൈലബിൾ അന്ന് ഇൻസ്റ്റാഗ്രാം വെച്ച് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തതാണ്. സോ ഈ ടോപ്പിക്സ് വി കണ്ടിന്യൂസ്ലി സ്പോക്ക് പോസ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് വി ഓൺലി യൂസ് ടു ഡിസൈൻ ഇൻ ക്യാൻവ. ഇപ്പോൾ വി കുഡിൻ അഫോർഡ് എ ഗ്രാഫിക് ഡിസൈനർ ആൻഡ് സ്റ്റഫ്. നമ്മൾ തന്നെ ഇരുന്ന് ക്യാൻവയിൽ ഉണ്ടാക്കി സോ സംഹൗ ദിസ് കോണ്ടന്റ് റീച്ച്ഡ്. എവിടെയോ ഒരാൾക്ക് എത്തിയിട്ട് ദേ കോൺടാക്റ്റഡ് എസ് ടെല്ലിംഗ് ദാറ്റ് അവർക്കൊരു ഓൺലൈൻ സെഷൻ നടത്തണമെന്ന്. ഇറ്റ് വാസ് പീക്ക് കോവിഡ്, പക്ഷെ നമുക്ക് പോകാൻ പറ്റിയില്ല. സോ അങ്ങനെ എത്ര 25 ആശ വർക്കേഴ്സ് റൈറ്റ്? 25 ആശ വർക്കേഴ്സിന് we did a webinar.
So that was actually one girl, she's doing her PhD somewhere in IIM, right? I'm not really sure. So she contacted me, so പുള്ളിക്കാരത്തി കണ്ണൂർക്കാരത്തിയാണ്. So ഏതൊരു influencer through she saw FemiSafe. അങ്ങനെ she wanted to do a social service on the project basis. That's how she was like, can you take it for like 25 ASHA workers? I was like, okay, because ഞാൻ ഇങ്ങനെ ഓരോ ആൾക്കാർക്ക് പോയി പറഞ്ഞു കാണുന്നത് I can address like 25 people. And actually how we started FemiSafe was by seeing your Kudumbashri workers and Budhubutu Kantana. That's how the entire this idea came up. Like I'll go through that first. That make more sense. So COVID time we all know we every day Kudumbashri waste like morning 5:36 whatever. But COVID time it was once a week. So I was using menstrual cups when get disposed on that. But my mom was disposing sanitary pads. And these sanitary pads were like 5 days at a So Kudumbashri workers they were picking up these waste which were lying from past 7 days, and they were picking up with bare hands. So it was a very gross environment. It was very overwhelming to see that. Again, they have to take the sanitary pad and pad and gel plant separate it and processing. So I just shared it with Naseef, like I happened to see. So since he knew I was using cups, he was like, "Ella the cup use yaata hai." What is that gap, why people are not using? Because brands are doing which are entire, like 1 or 2 brands were there in India. Okay, so why are people not using it? That is how we identified that lack of product seller, lack of awareness and right information was the gap. So that is where the whole idea of FemiSafe came in, and we were like, okay, fine, why not we fill that gap and also address few pain points that were there in the product. അങ്ങനെ അതേ ആൾക്കാരെ മനസ്സിൽ തുടങ്ങിയപ്പോൾ I mean the ASHA workers, Kudumbashri workers, when I'm getting a chance to take a class for them, it was very great for me. But only point was I had to talk everything in Malayalam. So yeah, I had to prepare it because I basically even teach the anatomy because a lot of people in our country still do not know their anatomy. Other മൂന്ന് മക്കളായ ആൾക്കാർ പോലും പല നമുക്ക് വരുന്ന customer experience ആണ്. They don't know where to put the menstrual cup. They don't know where they bleed from. So what I did, like I was preparing for this and I was telling Naseef full Malayalam and I'm very nervous. He was like, no, it's a chance, just do it however you want. Last Q&A ചോദിച്ചു അവർക്ക് ഡൗട്ടിനെ അവർ ചോദിക്കും. അങ്ങനെ I prepared all these vagina vulva ഇതൊക്കെ ഞാൻ മലയാളത്തിൽ full പഠിച്ചെടുത്തിട്ട് I took the class and it was actually success. I think we had few people even buy our cups right after that. Our session we gave a coupon code or something. After the session, for those workers we gave a coupon code. അവർക്ക് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അവർ ഓൾറെഡി menopause 35-40 plus ആയി അവരുടെ മക്കൾക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് വാങ്ങി. So that was the first point of success. That was the first session നമുക്ക് പറയാം online session.
Apart from that, it was from day one the strategy was push out content on Instagram.
Yes.
എന്നിട്ട് നമുക്കൊരു ബ്രേക്ക് ത്രൂ ആയ ഒരു ഇവന്റ് എന്ന് വെച്ചെങ്കിൽ സോ വൺ ഡേ വി ഗോട്ട് എ കോൾ ഫ്രം സീക്രട്ട് ആർട്സ് കോളേജ്. അവരെങ്ങനെയോ നമ്മൾ ഇൻസ്റ്റാഗ്രാമിൽ നമ്മൾ കോണ്ടന്റ് ഇട്ട് നമ്മളെ വിളിച്ചു, ആഡ്സ് ആൻഡ് കോണ്ടന്റ്സ് ഒക്കെ കണ്ടിട്ട് വിളിച്ചു. സോ ദേ വാണ്ടഡ് Noureen ടു ഡു എ സെഷൻ ഇൻ അവർ കോളേജിൽ. സോ വി ഓൾസോ ഡിഡ് എ മെൻസ്ട്രൽ കപ്പ് ഡിസ്ട്രിബ്യൂഷൻ ദാറ്റ് ഡേ. അന്നേ ദിവസം അവിടെ ചീഫ് ഗസ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് വന്നത് ഹൈബീഡൻ MP ഹൈബീഡൻ ഹി ഹാഡ് കം. സോ ഹി ഹാഡ് മെറ്റ് Noureen. സോ അന്ന് ഹൈബീഡൻ പറഞ്ഞു, ഐ എം ഡൂയിങ് എ ക്യാമ്പയിൻ കോൾഡ് കപ്പ് ഓഫ് ലൈഫ്. സോ വുഡ് യു ലൈക്ക് ടു ബി പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് ദറ്റ് ക്യാമ്പയിൻ? അങ്ങനെ നമ്മൾ ഇൻവൈറ്റ് ചെയ്ത ക്യാമ്പയിനിലേക്ക്. ദാറ്റ് വാസ് ആക്ച്വലി ഗിന്നസ് വേൾഡ് റെക്കോർഡ് and world's largest menstrual cup campaign. So അതിൻ്റെ അകത്ത് നമ്മൾ ഭാഗമായപ്പം we got incredible exposure. Incredible exposure is the kind of exposure we would have never imagined. നമുക്ക് ഈ ഏരിയയിൽ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്ന എല്ലാവരും പരിചയപ്പെടാൻ പറ്റി. ആക്ച്വലി
ആ ഒരു ഇവന്റിനെ അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്തപ്പോഴാണ് I realized that never undermine any opportunity you get because that happened in 2022 right? 2022 May end ലായിരുന്നു. So നമ്മൾ നോമ്പ് എന്താണ് കഴിഞ്ഞു വരുന്ന സമയമായിരുന്നു. So we had plans to come to നാട്ടിലേക്ക് വരാൻ പ്ലാൻ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. So that other പെരുന്നാളിന്റെ തൊട്ട് തലേ ദിവസം ഇവന്റ് വെക്കുന്നത്. So I was telling Naseef should I not go for it? But he was like, go, it's okay. So he was like, you come later by bus. And I was like, oh, bus. And I was almost going to tell them that I won't be able to come. Because in college event happened. So I did not take it seriously. I was like, why should I go? So he was like, no, go for it. You never know from where the opportunity. That is where I would walk from down. I took a class session. They had conducted a whole event since Hygiene was an ex-student of Sacred Hearts. He was a chief guest there. And then introduction and the pair like FemiSafe and so on. So that's when he heard it. And then we had a conversation. So I'm not tired, I've made sure that I'm not going to undermine any opportunity that I'm going to get. Like if it is within my reach and if I can go there physically, we are going there. That's it. Because I think he'll explain more about that. He has this sort of butterfly effect.
So anybody knows about butterfly effects?
Yes.
അറിയില്ലേ ഒരു ഇൻസിഗ്നിഫിക്കൻറ്റ് ഇവന്റ് നമ്മുടെ ലൈഫിൽ പല സിഗ്നിഫിക്കൻസ് അച്ചീവ്മെന്റ്സിനും ചാൻസ് ആവും. അങ്ങനെയായിരുന്നു നമുക്ക് സീക്രട്ട് ഹാർട്സ് ലൈവിൻ്റെ. നമ്മളത് റാൻഡമായിട്ട് ഒരു എക്സ്പെക്ടേഷനും ഇല്ലാണ്ട് ചുമ്മാ പോയതാണ്. അതായത് ഒരു 100 പിള്ളേരെടുത്ത് നമ്മൾ ബ്രാൻഡ് ഇൻട്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യാം, അവരെ എഡ്യൂക്കേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുക എന്നുള്ളത്. അവിടുന്ന് MP പരിചയപ്പെട്ടു. വി ബിക്കെയിം പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് ദാറ്റ് ക്യാമ്പയിൻ, ഗിന്നസ് വേൾഡ് റെക്കോർഡ് ക്യാമ്പയിൻ. അതിൻ്റെ ലിങ്ക്ഡിൻ പോസ്റ്റ് കണ്ടിട്ട് ഷീ വാസ് ഇൻവൈറ്റഡ് ആസ് എ ചീഫ് ഗസ്റ്റ് ഫോർ കേരള സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് മിഷൻ്റെ ഇവൻറ്റ്. സോ അവിടെ നിന്ന് യുവർ സ്റ്റോറിയുടെ ആൾക്കാർ വന്നു. So they featured the brand in your story. That kandittu we got in numerous other features. That kandittu one of this startup PDM page ഉണ്ട് LinkedIn. അതിൻ്റെ ഫൗണ്ടർ IIT-N ആണ്, ex-IIT-N. So അവർ നമ്മൾ ഫീച്ചർ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അത് കണ്ടിട്ട് we got a call from IIT Bombay. So last like 2 weeks ago we had gone to IIT Bombay with their invitation to do a session on menstrual cups. ഞാൻ പറയാം നമ്മൾ വിചാരിക്കാത്ത കാര്യങ്ങളായിരിക്കും നമുക്ക് ബ്രേക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. You have to keep doing. There will be one insignificant event that will give you all the break you need.
Like still people ask us, like, Sacred Hearts they had asked us to give sponsor them 100 cups. So sponsoring 100 cups was a little heavy for us because free it was a little bit heavy for us. But then Naseef was like, we'll give them corporate. Intentionally our products are because our packaging and the box and the FemiSafe. So it's more for branding. So people used the product, they liked it. So it went word of mouth. So it's like, so never underestimate even the smallest opportunity you get. Other webinars, online sessions, just the whole point is just to show up. That's where all this thing, actually awareness of.
Then we build the credibility. Now Noureen is getting at least 5 to 10 calls every day from different parts of India. Session at government. We don't commit all of them now. So നമ്മൾ പറ്റുന്നതൊക്കെ കമ്മിറ്റ് ചെയ്യും. If at least viable ആണെങ്കിൽ we commit and we go personally and do it actually.
So the whole awareness point of view is maximum ആൾക്കാരെ നമുക്ക് personally, like right now we do have the bandwidth or privilege to go personally, maybe few months, few years down the line, but like we might have to create a team for it. But നമുക്ക് maximum എവിടൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് പോകാൻ പറ്റുമോ create a visibility. So that is how we did the awareness. And then I think you asked about
like the marketing strategy. This is like a word of mouth and like how you are establishing as 2 brands or like 3 brands, FemiSafe, Naseef, Noureen, like brands,
yes,
right? To be very specific in technical terms. But apart from that, what is your performance marketing strategy and sales strategy? Like how you're following?
Sales strategy, first thing we identified, ഈ പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് 2 രീതിയിൽ നമുക്ക് സെല് ചെയ്യാം. ഒന്ന് we have to go and tell people ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് എക്സിസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്, would you like to buy? That is a Facebook approach. Another thing was like we wanted to capitalize on inbound traffic. So that's like Amazon, Flipkart, Meesho, Snapdeal. It's like a distribution channel. So one thing we made sure that since day one, ആൾക്കാർ എവിടെയൊക്കെ സെർച്ച് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട് അവിടെയൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ അവൈലബിൾ ആവും. Even if you don't have money, it's okay to pay marketing inside that channel, but we'll be available. ആൾക്കാർ ഡിസ്കവർ ചെയ്യുന്ന രീതിയിൽ ഡിസ്കവർ ചെയ്യട്ടെ. So we took time to list on almost all the possible platforms നമ്മളൊക്കെ നന്ന് പറ്റുന്നത്. So we listed on Amazon, Flipkart, Meesho, Snapdeal, Nykaa, JioMart, FirstCry, and wherever possible. So that is one thing. So നമുക്ക് almost 30% of the revenue was coming organically from there. ഒന്നും ചെയ്യാണ്ട് just by listing there. Then remaining thing നമ്മൾ ഈ ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത ബ്രാൻഡ് ഇല്ലേ അത് ലെവറേജ് ചെയ്യാൻ we ran paid ads. So when somebody see an ad, right, they don't think like, okay, this new brand, ഞാൻ ഇവരെ കുറിച്ച് എവിടേക്കോ കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്, these guys must be genuine, these guys must be, it's a nice brand. So it's paid ads are more of a reminder actually for people to buy. And I don't feel like ഇനിയുള്ള കാലത്ത് performance marketing മാത്രം വെച്ചൊരു ബ്രാൻഡ് ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ പറ്റും. There is so much competition out there. So everybody has like പണ്ടൊക്കെ ആണെങ്കിൽ ഒരു 10 years ago only big brands could advertise. കാരണം ടി വി അഡ്വർടൈസ്മെന്റ് ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ മിനിമം യൂണിറ്റ് 20 lakhs 30 lakhs ടിക്കറ്റ് സൈസ്. അതല്ലാണ്ട് ഒരാൾക്കും ടി വിയിൽ ഇറങ്ങാൻ പറ്റില്ല. ഈവൻ നോട്ടീസ് അടിക്കണമെങ്കിൽ ഒരു സ്ഥലത്ത് മാത്രം നോട്ടീസ് അടിച്ചിട്ട് കാര്യമില്ല. യു ഹാവ് ടു പുട്ട് ഹ്യൂജ് ഹോർഡിങ്സ് ഒരു ഹ്യൂജ് ബാനേഴ്സ്. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഒരാൾ ഒരു ബാനറായിട്ട് ചെയ്തില്ല, ഒരു ബാനറിന് എഫക്റ്റ് ഉണ്ടാവില്ല. സോ യു ഹാവ് ടു പുട്ട് ഹ്യൂമങ്കസ് ഹോർഡിങ്സ് അക്രോസ് ദ സിറ്റി. നൗ ഇറ്റ് ഹാസ് ബിക്കം വെരി ഡെമോക്രറ്റൈസ്ഡ്. ആർക്കും വേണമെങ്കിലും ആഡ് ചെയ്യാം. ഈ റിസ്വാൻ ക്യാൻ ഡു ആഡ്. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ആർക്കും വേണമെങ്കിൽ 100 rupees ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ യു ക്യാൻ ഡു ക്യാമ്പയിൻ. ഐ തിങ്ക് 80 rupees was the limit in 84 rupees. Yeah, 84 rupees anybody can do it. So how do you stand out? അവിടെയാണ് ബ്രാൻഡിങ്ങിൻ്റെ പവർ വരുന്നത്. ബ്രാൻഡിങ് is used to establish that brand credibility. Performance marketing is more of a reminder. ആൾക്കാർ ഓൾറെഡി ബ്രാൻഡ് അറിയുന്ന ആൾക്കാർക്ക് ഒരു നഡ്ജാണ്. ഓക്കെ, now it's a chance for you to buy. So we use performance marketing parallelly to remind people to buy your product.
Because performance marketing and awareness sometimes the results measurable അല്ല. ഇപ്പം ഞാൻ സീക്രട്ട് ഹാർട്സിൽ 1 year ബാക്ക് എടുത്തതിൻ്റെ ഒരു ഡോമിനോ ഒരു കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് ഇഫക്റ്റ് ആണ് ഇപ്പം സെഷൻസ് ഇതൊക്കെ വൈഡ് സ്പ്രെഡ് ആയിട്ട് എടുക്കുന്നത്. But when it comes to performance marketing, I think the results are more measurable.
Data is.
Yeah, exactly. That is a difference. But performance marketing മാത്രം ചെയ്തിട്ട് I don't think FemiSafe would have been able.
I don't think any brand can exist from now on. That's my take at least.
Okay. So like initially performance marketing everything was just Naseef.
Yes.
Now how has it changed?
So until 6 months ago I used to do it. I actually love running ads. So content creation we outsourced actually. We use agencies, we use influencers. So until recently, but then I got really busy. Vare commitments on. So I have outsourced to an agency. So we are trying to get it through them. Actually, it's an agency in Mumbai. I give them direction. So they execute it basically. Actually, also I'm not sure if I'm supposed to listen podcast. I want to have a meeting with Haris today to discuss if there is an opportunity to collaborate. നമ്മൾ 1-2 പ്രാവശ്യം സംസാരിച്ചിരുന്നു. Maybe the stars didn't align or what. നമ്മളത് ത്രൂ ആയില്ല. So I want to talk to once more and see what value we can add to each other.
Okay. That's great. Now again this is one side, right? Now let's come to hiring the team or like having a team, right? Building a team. Is it just you two till now?
No.
Or like have you changed it? Like how does it like depending on operations and functioning?
So there are 2 of us on the top, and then we have 3 people in house, like who are taking off operations, customer support and everything. Then we have 1 content creator working remotely, and then we have numerous other outsourced agencies. Like for accounting we have a team who work very closely with us. They are more like our virtual CFO. Then we have a marketing team. Then we have a freelancer taking care of our marketplace ads. There are basically 20+ people are working for us. 4 of them are directly in our payroll. Remaining the rest of them are like more of an agency or freelancer format.
That's great. Okay, that's great. Now coming to the revenue side, right? Like you are, I think, Stanford seeded. Like you have raised funds, right?
No, we haven't raised funds from Stanford seed, but I was a part of their program. Like they had selected around 10 startups from Kerala when they wanted to accelerate. So we were a part of it. It's like more of a cohort basis on it. It's like more of a 5-month. You have to be with them as a cohort, you train and stuff and all. So I just completed that and just got graduated.
Okay, so let's this side again is very important. Like you said, like you only had like 1 credit card and all, right?
Yes.
So how did you scale this from there?
So I don't know if you'll believe or not. We ran out of money 22 times in last 2 years. Our bank balance went to 0. But for some reason, we had strong faith that we were in the right path. So sometimes we had to sell our belongings. Like once we sold Noureen's jewelry, I had to sell my previous car, which I had, we worked for almost 3 years and I've saved. It was my most precious, possession. So I had to give up that. Similarly, I had to borrow money from my friends. Whatever channel possible, right? We kept on going actually. Each time we run out of fund, we'll find some more other way. We kept on raising small amounts like 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 50,000. We kept surviving. We found new revenue channels. So that was, we felt like till one point it was doable. After that we felt like ingane cheyidittu karyilla. So we actually ventured into fundraising. That's when I told we got busy actually. So we tried raising funds. We thought it was very easy. Korche traction and ഒരു pitch deck ഉണ്ടാക്കി പോയി investor ഇപ്പോ പൈസ തരുന്നു. We went to numerous investors. At least I think we had to pitch almost 40 times to 40+ investors to get our first term sheet. You know about term sheet, right? Yeah, term sheet is an agreement where an investor will put this much money. for this much valuation. അങ്ങനെ പോയി recently we got startup India seed fund scheme ഉണ്ട്. So we got that actually.
Okay.
Then we got commitment from an angel investor. So that's almost through. Should happen in this month or so. Other land we are getting funding from a state government subsidiary. So these are the funding that happened so far.
Okay. That's great. So now I have one question that is like, we spoke about starting, creating a strategy, developing that and scaling it. Now, if at all, in 2023, you were to start this from scratch again, okay? And if I were to ask like 5 to 6 steps, you were to sum up, like how do you take it? What would be your approach? How would that be?
First thing, like I said, if I'm getting into any other business again, I'll see if there is enough market space. That's one thing. Second thing, I won't try to do everything alone. I think you lose a lot of time doing that. I'll try to find the best people, like even before I start, like especially specialist. നമ്മൾ ഇനീഷ്യലി when we started, നമ്മൾ ഫുൾ ജനറലിസ്റ്റുകളാണ് ഹയർ ചെയ്തത്. ഇതോടെ നമ്മൾ ആൾക്കാരെ എടുത്തിട്ട് അവരെ പഠിപ്പിക്കാൻ. There is a limit you can do that. Till 1.0 to 1 you can do that. After that, 1 to 10 to 100 you can't do that actually. So I'll try to hire good people. Like Haris എപ്പോഴും ലിങ്ക്ഡിൽ പറയുന്നത് like people like ഒരു ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻ ആൾക്കാരാണ്. So I also believe the same. So I'll try to find the best people even before I start. Then third thing I would do is like learn from others' mistake. So like initially നമ്മൾ എന്താ maximum mistakes ഉണ്ടാക്കിയിട്ട് പഠിക്കാനാണ്. It's very costly actually. So instead of learning from your mistakes, try to learn from others' mistake. നമ്മളെ സെയിം ജേർണി കഴിഞ്ഞ ആൾക്കാരുണ്ടാവില്ലേ. So if you see their journey, you'll understand. So right now what I do is like നമ്മുടെ കോമ്പറ്റീറ്റേഴ്സിൻ്റെ ഫിനാൻഷ്യൽ സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെൻറ്റ്സ് ഒക്കെ നമുക്ക് പബ്ലിക്കലി അവൈലബിൾ ആണ്. So I download them. I go through each and every particular. അവരെവിടെയാണ് പൈസ ബേൺ ചെയ്യുന്നത്, അവരെവിടെയാണ് മിസ്മാനേജ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. We audit their social media and see. We audit their whatever available. We watch their interviews and find where they went wrong actually. Instead of making that mistake, we can maybe if we can save 2 months, 3 months, it's a lot of time actually. So these are 3 things I would tell you.
And regarding the market size, a lot of people say that it's very cluttered market. Like when you plan, if you have an idea, when you check the market size and if you see how the space is, some people say it's too cluttered and they go for very niche. The thing is, if you go for very niche, your market size is going to be very small. Another thing is, if you make too complicated products, sometimes you end up making products or launching products which your customer does not need. So there the scalability becomes a problem. So it is okay if you're launching a product which is already there in the market. It is not a problem. But maybe നമ്മൾ വേറെ ഒരു ബ്രാൻഡ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വേറെ കമ്പനീസ് അഡ്രസ് ചെയ്യാത്ത പെയിൻ പോയിന്റ്സ് നമുക്ക് വേണമെങ്കിൽ അഡ്രസ് ചെയ്യാം. So when it came to FemiSafe, we knew there were brands who had launched in 2013, 13-15 hour range launch. There were brands in that. Since I had used a product, I knew the pain points. But നമ്മുടെ കപ്പിളിൽ നമ്മുടെ പ്രൊഡക്ട്സിൽ എന്ത് ചേഞ്ച് നമ്മൾ കൊണ്ടുവരണം എന്നുള്ളത് we kind of knew. So that is how where we can stand different. പിന്നെ our approach different ആയിരുന്നു. നമ്മൾ approach more of awareness first that. So I think whenever you're starting a brand and if there are already players in the same field, see what you can do differently. അവരെ പോലെ തന്നെ കോപ്പി അടിച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അത് സാച്ചുറേറ്റ് ആവും. ഒരു പോയിന്റ് എത്തുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് സാച്ചുറേറ്റ് ആവും. But if you take a different approach and maybe some few months or few years down the line, വേറെ ആൾക്കാർ നമ്മളെ കോപ്പി അടിക്കായിരിക്കും, പ്രശ്നമല്ല, like other people copy you. But still like ആൾക്കാർ പറയുമോ ഇത് FemiSafe ചെയ്തതാണ്, അതിനാണ് മറ്റു ആൾക്കാരെ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. Because when we go to investors, a lot of people ask us, oh, menstrual cup and facial razors ഒക്കെ വേറെ ആൾക്കാർക്ക് ഉണ്ടല്ലോ. How is it different? So we say our approach is different. ഇത്രയും നാൾ 2013 മുതൽ ബ്രാൻഡ്സ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. But why did people not know about menstrual cups? Because there was a gap, awareness in a gap. That is what we are filling. Right. Now if tomorrow a new brand comes with a lot of awareness and all this stuff, somewhere I believe people will say, oh, the FemiSafe is ചെയ്തതാണ്. So that is a validation for us. That's one thing. Another thing, as he said, don't try to do everything alone. It is only going to take your peace of mind because നമ്മുടെ FemiSafe start ചെയ്തപ്പം I was the one who was handling customer support because I had more product knowledge. It was very difficult for me to appoint a person in the customer support position because I thought that okay, എന്നെ പോലെ അവർക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ലായിരിക്കും. Okay. But then later I realized it's okay. നമ്മൾ പുതിയ ആൾ വെച്ചാൽ maybe they'll make mistakes. But if you want to focus on other bigger things, you need people or you need to have somebody to whom you can delegate. That's one thing. പിന്നെ don't wait thinking that okay, എനിക്ക് കുറച്ച് പൈസ ആവട്ടെ, let me refine the idea. Don't. Just start. Because people ask us, as you ask, like funding കാര്യം ചോദിക്കുമ്പോൾ there were numerous times when we felt that tomorrow we will have to shut down because we do not have money. First of all, initial days, we used to not take much money from the company because we used to put everything inside. When we had a team, you have a responsibility of the team now because you are the source of their income. Right? Malapur, we felt, okay, we might run, probably we had a runway of say maybe 10 days, 15 days. But still we kept going because we are in this for the long run. Quick money is not possible from business. Then you'll have to probably do some Bitcoin or something, but business like quick money is not possible. Still our parents ask us like, are you guys getting any money? So every single time we explain them the same thing. Business is not like that. You have to be in the long run and you have to be ready to give whatever it takes. Palapur, when we go for these entrepreneur talks, people ask us, are you ready to give everything for your business? Yes. There were times when we had zero money, nothing to sell. Okay, already we sold everything, we pawned everything, we mortgaged everything. Only thing we had, like I used to tell Naseef, don't worry, we have 4 kidneys. That's the last option we can resort. We've actually told this because, and Palapur, when we have conversation, we tell like, we can do that because we really want to make this work. So if you are starting a business, enter it only if you want to make it work. It's like there was this trend, everybody starting cafes, so people started cafes. Everybody is becoming content creators, so people, started going to do. Don't do that. If you really have passion and if you're in the long run, go for it. Don't wait. And don't be embarrassed to ask people for help. And since we are in Kochi, the startup ecosystem is much better there. So we have learned a lot more from our founder friends. Ours in 2018, mistakes they tell us. And if there's any new trend coming up, we tell them. So always be open to, ask. As an entrepreneur, you should be shameless in every sense. So that would be,
Yeah, one thing we didn't do initially was networking.
Yeah.
We thought, okay, consumers ഉണ്ടാവില്ലേ, target customers, females between age 16 to 40. നമ്മൾ full focus ഈ ആൾക്കാരുടെ അടുത്ത് എത്താൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് മാത്രമായിരുന്നു. We never stepped out of office. We never met anybody. We found it was a very costly effort not to do that. ഒരു കൊല്ലം കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് when we started networking, നമ്മുടെ opportunities became 10x, 20x, 30x. Like നമ്മൾ വിചാരിക്കാത്ത പല സൈഡിൽ നിന്നാണ് നമുക്ക് ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റീസ് വരാൻ തുടങ്ങി. വി ഓൾവേസ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഗേൾസ് മാത്രമേ മെൻസ്ട്രൽ കപ്പ് ഉപയോഗിക്കും, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഗേൾസ് മാത്രമേ നമ്മുടെ പ്രൊഡക്ട്സ് ഉപയോഗിക്കും, അവർ മാത്രം ഫോക്കസ് ചെയ്ത് അവരിലേക്ക് മാത്രം ബ്രാൻഡ് എത്താൻ നോക്കി. ബട്ട് ഇഫ് യു സീ ദ ഐറോണി, വേൾഡ്സ് ലാർജസ്റ്റ് മെൻസ്ട്രൽ കപ്പ് വാസ് ഡൺ ബൈ എ മാൻ ആക്ച്വലി. ഇറ്റ് വാസ് ഹൈബീഡിൻ ഇസ് എ ഗായ്. വി നെവർ തോട്ട് ഇൻ ദ റെസ്പെക്ട്. പിന്നെ നമ്മൾ പുറത്തിറങ്ങി മാർക്കറ്റിംഗ്, അതായത് നെറ്റ്വർക്കിംഗ് തുടങ്ങിയപ്പോഴാണ് നമുക്ക് മനസ്സിലായത് നമ്മൾ വിചാരിക്കും സ്റ്റേക്ക് ഹോൾഡേഴ്സും കൺസ്യൂമേഴ്സും രണ്ടും വേറെ വേറെ ആൾക്കാരാണെന്ന്. സോ വി ചേഞ്ച് ദ മൈൻഡ് സെറ്റ്. നൗ വി ട്രൈ ടു നെറ്റ്വർക്ക് ആസ് മച്ച് ആസ് പോസിബിൾ. നമ്മൾ പറ്റുന്ന ഇവൻറ്റ്സിനൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ നേരിട്ട് പോകും. വി മെറ്റ് ഓൾ ദ പീപ്പിൾ. സോ നമുക്ക് ഇറ്റ് ഇൻക്രീസ് അവർ കോൺഫിഡൻസ് ആക്ച്വലി. നമുക്ക് അതായത് നല്ല ആൾക്കാരെ അറിയുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ഓട്ടോമാറ്റിക്കലി കോൺഫിഡൻസ് വരും. നമുക്ക് എന്തുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇവരുടെ അടുത്ത് പോകും, വി കൻ യൂസ് ദർ നെറ്റ്വർക്ക്. നമുക്ക് എന്തുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ വി കൻ ഷെയർ തിങ്സ്. സംടൈംസ് ലൈക്ക് വി സിറ്റ് വിത്ത് അവർ എന്താ പറയുക ഫൗണ്ടർ ഫ്രണ്ട്സ് വിച്ച് ഇസ് റാൻഡ്. നമ്മുടെ പ്രോബ്ലംസ് മാത്രം പറഞ്ഞിരുന്ന് ചിരിക്കും. സോ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് എ റിലീഫ്. സോ ഓൾവേസ് നെറ്റ്വർക്ക്. കീപ്പ് ഓൺ. ഒരിക്കലും നെറ്റ്വർക്കിംഗ് ആൻഡ് ലേണിംഗ് ഇസ് ലൈക്ക് 2 things that you should never stop till you die. നമ്മൾ മരിക്കുന്ന ദിവസം വരെ 2 സാധനം ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കും. കീപ് ലേണിംഗ് ന്യൂ തിങ്സ്. കാരണം നമ്മൾ ഇന്ന് പഠിച്ചത് നാളെ ഒബ്സൊലീറ്റ് ആയിരിക്കും. ഫോർ എൻ എക്സാമ്പിൾ, നമ്മൾ തുടങ്ങുമ്പോൾ വിചാരിച്ച ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസർ മാർക്കറ്റിംഗ് വാസ് ഗിവിംഗ് us a ROAS of 15x. For every 1 rupee we spend, we are getting a 15 times ROAS. നമ്മൾ വിചാരിച്ച് ഇത് മാത്രം മതി. നമ്മൾ വിത്തിൻ 4-5 years നമ്മൾ കോടീശ്വരന്മാരാവും. We kept on doing it. Within 3 months it stopped working. Same thing with performance marketing. നമുക്ക് 7x, 8x ROAS കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ട്. So then came iOS 14. Everything turned upside down. So, but since we kept on learning, we kept on discovering new things. We kept on discovering new channels and everything. We didn't stop. We didn't have to stop in between. We didn't get stuck in between. If you don't keep learning, right, you can have success only for a short period of time. So keep learning, keep networking. It's one advice I want.
Also have to put yourself in situations where you become vulnerable. നമുക്ക് എപ്പോഴും നമ്മുടെ ടോപ്പ് ആക്കി വെക്കുന്ന സ്ഥലത്ത് നമ്മൾ പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ we'll always think we are the best. You have to always put yourself in places where you feel so small, where you feel like you're just going to shrink. Because that is where, you feel, okay, there are a lot of things that you can learn. And I think that has also helped us learn. Now networking saying the very used thing, okay, number FemiSafe, we are doing it at the moment we started going for events or, startup events, and when we actually saw other D2C brands, we felt how small we were. And that did not actually put us down, but actually it helped us in okay, let's also do like how they are doing. So that's one learning. Always put yourself in situations which makes you vulnerable. Number self worth question situations you'll actually I feel I mean it depends, it's very subjective. Tell out confidence more. But if as an entrepreneur you should actually try to work on those things. Yeah.
I feel like ambition is very contagious. Contagious എന്താണെന്ന് അറിയില്ലേ? പകർച്ചവ്യാധി പോലെയാണ്. നമ്മൾ തീരെ ambitions ഇല്ലാത്ത ആൾക്കാരോട് നടക്കുന്ന നമ്മുടെ മൈൻഡ് സെറ്റ് ഇതേപോലെ. പക്ഷെ നമ്മൾ ഡ്രീമേഴ്സിനോട് നടക്കുന്നെങ്കിൽ നമ്മളെ പോലെ അറിയാണ്ട് അവരവർ ആസ്പിറേഷൻ നമ്മളിലേക്ക് ഇങ്ങനെ ഡ്രിപ്പ് ചെയ്ത് വരും. So always trying to be around people who have ambitions. It helps in the long term actually.
That's awesome. So now I have a specific question, like the second last question. Like you're a D2C brand, right? So D2C brand online presence is very important, especially as I said, content strategy is also very, very important, right? Social media strategy.
Yeah.
So initially, as how we started again, suppose if someone starting a business tomorrow, they might not be having like money to invest on influencers, right? So our initial content strategy, how was it? Like how did you define that? Or right now also, how has it changed?
So initially, like I told, നമുക്ക് ആകെയുള്ള ആക്സസ് ക്യാൻവ ആൻഡ് ഇൻസ്റ്റാഗ്രാം. നമ്മൾ അത് വെച്ചാണ് തുടങ്ങിയത്. So we saw that ആൾക്കാർ ഒരുപാട് കമന്റ് ഒന്നും ചെയ്തിരുന്നു, ഷെയർസ് വരും thousands actually. That's when we realized എല്ലാ ആൾക്കാർക്കും ഈ ടോപ്പിക്കിനെ കുറിച്ച് അറിയണം, പക്ഷെ ആർക്കും പബ്ലിക്കലി സംസാരിക്കാൻ താല്പര്യമില്ല. Then we നമ്മൾ തുടങ്ങുന്ന റീൽസ് അത്ര കോമൺ ആയിരുന്നില്ല. Eventually reels started becoming mainstream. So we changed our strategy. Instead of that textual content, we started, we hired a content creator. We started doing reels on the content. So we said engagement kodi, share kodi. Now we are planning to increase, put a substantial percent of our marketing budget just for content creation. We don't want to just keep showing products to people. We want to show. We want to educate people actually. We want to add value to people, that people will come and buy our product. And then we product we want to inherently add value to all stakeholders, value adding. Okay, tomorrow they're consuming to my product. Like FemiSafe taught me a lot. Value about the brands. They should choose us in that way actually, other than just bombarding with the brands and converting.
And initially when we started influencer marketing or collaborations, it was all barter. Because influencers also wanted to grow, we also wanted to grow, so it was more for win-win. And those influencers were very niche. They used to do hardly 1 or 2 brands, whichever they get. But right now it's like, if I see an influencer probably doing a skincare product, then a hygiene product, then a few clothes, you trust in that. So I think 21 that whole scenario changed. Like one thing, this whole thing started getting very expensive because they were brands who were ready to pay a lot to influencers regardless of what ROI they give. But we could not afford it. There's a specific ROI. As a startup, you need to see ROI in everything. But we need brand reach also. So the thing like we used to do only with niche influencers, like who were at the top of the level. Probably 1 or 2 collabs in a month. That's how we do right now. Then our own content. Because as Naseef said, initially normally content we used to be skeptic. Normally openly periods contraception. Will people see us in the wrong eye? But the moment I think initially we used to not check the shares and all. Pinna insights every single content that has that talks about periods or that talks about safe sex or that talks anything about that, the shares were in 1,000. But our content are really comments on that. But if you see the shares, it's in thousands. If you see the saves, it's like a lot. That's when we realize that people want these content more than influencer collaborations. Yes, influencer collaboration it should work because influencer will use product and give them trustworthy influencer automatically. Or visuals they might try it out. But the contents is number of customers consumers and audience they will be like, as you said, there's a value addition. Like number of products we give them information also with it. Maybe because of that, a lot of times where brands using them, customers doubt. So when we ask them like cupping and all that, so we tell them like different brands differently the. So maybe we might not be able to help, but to go to them. So they are not responding. Or maybe that specific brand is not giving me information on that. So I think content, every brand should be a content creator. And Rizwan Ramzan, that's why we even hired, because I am a person who was or who is still a little camera shy when it comes to video. I am not good at, I'm very conscious when it comes to video. So he always tells, you know, you do the video because I'm the one who curates the content, the topic I am, the script I am, everything. But I'm like, maybe I'm not good at doing it. So, you know, why not hire a good content creator? So our content creator is actually a customer of ours. Yeah, so we had just put up a posting that we need a content creator, and she had actually won a giveaway from us at the summer customer rather from some time. So when we put this, so she just dropped us an email, you know, can I work with you guys, because you know I like the content that you guys are doing. We're like, okay, because we needed somebody with an open mind, you know, who is ready to do those contents which might you know, make their character questionable at some point. You know how people are, they'll judge you for what you talk. You might have the tag feminist or whatever, though people don't know the meaning. So that's how our content actually content creator kitted. So I think influencer collab, yes, we are doing it along with that performance marketing. Then namla side, we make sure every day one content goes up, either static post, reel or story. Anything of that form.
So one simple question again, you know, like you said that you have worked with more than 500 influencers,
Yeah.
right? So how do you choose influencers? Because that is also a very important.
So before we go to that, I want to add one more point to that existing discussion we are having. So initially, another costly mistake we did was, nobody knew us actually. FemiSafe the brand kore aalkarku ariyam. So we always tried to hide behind. So we were very skeptic. Founders nu kanikirudhu. Nammadadu kore aa oru shell breaking, it took us a long time actually. Almost the last 1 year we discovered that founders friendly vandenengil it adds a lot more credibility, it adds a lot more value. Our realization namakku varan kore time eduthu. We thought that founders appull back il nikkunnaanu nallathu, brand maathram friendly varanam. Now brands are getting more human actually. You might have seen the trend. Lenskart in a recent ad andirunnu, is Pish Bansal. Shaadi.com in the recent ad is done by Anupam Mittal. Sugar and the, so everybody, all the founders are trying. One thing you say that you save the money of brand ambassador. Second thing, people trust you more. Imagine a face illatha brand, there is a face illa brand. Which one would you trust more?
The MDH masala.
MDH masala.
That comes and that's how we trust it.
Can't pay for nothing.
Yes. Exactly. Even there are like example, like maybe controversial example like Bobby Chemanur. Maybe a lot of people won't agree with what he's doing, but he has used his personal brand. He's saving crores in advertising, literally. And like, that strategy is very effective. People, you know, trying to trust you much faster than seeing, you know, typical advertisement. Power sana nammal kore naal ignore edu. So if anybody wants to start, if you have, you know, korchu confidence and will come in front of camera, talk directly to the customer. Here option on the 10 kollum 5 kollum undayittilla. Now we have reels. Reels and nalla content anakku onnum you don't have to spend also. Automatically you'll get thousands of shares, thousands of likes, thousands of what you say saves. So just, you know, leverage the power of tools we have as of now. Adu mathram cheyidam madi.
And then, yeah, just coming back to your question, how did we choose influencers? So initially, influencers are like a part of collab, and we were like, let's just bombard, you know, influencers and let's just do with everybody. So over 2021, that's how we did. And a lot of people know us through influencers. FemiSafe influencer. But then there's something that, you know, was at stake at that point of time, is our brand tone, like our brand persona that goes to the audience. So, palappuram ee reels maathramalla, like if there's an influencer who does only reels, okay, only lip sync or dance, so when that person does our product, our brand persona changes, right? It's like, okay, we're, you know, they're doing with almost all influencers and all that. Then because like when we were doing this with all the influencers, when we asked people how do you know FemiSafe, like, yeah, we saw this influencer doing. They did not know what FemiSafe is, what the whole idea of FemiSafe is, that we're an impact-driven brand. That's when we realized, okay, now we have to take a different path. We have to look for only worthy, you know, influencers who can actually pass our, you know, brand tone or brand persona, like more empowered as influencers. So that's how we started going with influencers who are vocal on Instagram. Probably we can say Radha, then Superwoman, you know, we started with like those people, Aishuti. That actually puts out what the brand stands for. Okay. And now what we do is we do only with people again who are a little more vocal, powerful, who have their opinions on Instagram, you know, who keep, whether it be about feminism, whether it be about, you know, whatever, like the women empowerment. And maybe namakku ROI kittunnillengilum nammude brand tone avada set avunnundu. Initially nammude move ella influencers kudu cheyaru. We used to not care like whether they are into makeup or whatever. We used to do with everybody. But now we have, actually shortened, because especially as he said, founders brand frontly വരുമ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ ആ ഒരു ആറ്റിറ്റ്യൂഡും എല്ലാം കൂടി ബ്രാൻഡ് മുകളിൽ വരും. Like, how we put ourselves. So brand is our baby, and we obviously, like, every parent wants to parent their baby in a very good environment, and they want their baby to be a good example in front of the people. So the same. So our brand, we've started, polishing it, and actually putting out how FemiSafe is as it is.
That's great. Haris, he says this every time. Like, academy in the case of academy, we don't work with influencers. Like, I don't know, we kind of restrict ourselves from doing it, but instead we bring out people who are like founders or like who are experts or something, because we also want to set a tone that okay, we are not like doing as how everyone is doing. Like, we just want to stand apart and set a culture where okay, we want to add value into people's lives, because we want to resonate with that also, right? Because ultimately at the end of the day, if it doesn't resonate with people, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Right? Exactly. And also, like, the same point that you added, like building a personal brand or writing about something, there are multiple ways to do that. But again, if not video, write it. If not that, speak about it, events and something like that. That's awesome. And one last question I have: we have spoken for a long time. You have been to Shark Tank.
Yes.
Semi-finals.
Yes.
Right. You didn't make it to the finals, right? How was the process? In short, and how can if any of these people?
I think Noureen has been done part of the process through. I think she can explain.
Yeah. So when I saw Shark Tank one, I was like, why is it feeling this? Probably, Naseef story says, "Namma avada poite, namma reject cheyidonnalum saga." But then there's a visibility, there's a brand. So every brand wants visibility. You want PR because that's how startups grow. So I just saw this, like, I was keeping a track because Shark Tank 1, we were wondering how did we know. That's when we realized it is because we were not aware of what is happening around us. We were only FemiSafe in Instagram office for like 6 months down, then we made the office for teacher. We had no connections with people outside, and it was so bad that there was a time when we did not know that we were that alien to the surroundings around us. So I started following Shark Tank page. I saw their whole application process. So initially you just have to fill in, I think, a 10-page detail wherein you have to put in your revenue, what you're doing, and of course your video. So as a founder, you have to put your video, what your brand is and everything. Other thing, then there is second round. So first round, the details. If they find that our product is product market fit, they'll take it to the next round. Again, you have to fill 10 forms. Again, other keep filling, and it's like sometimes the form will not work and all that. Remove the form filling, each of probably 10 or 12 pages. Then I think they'll get back to you. Yeah, and then they'll get back to you. Then they'll ask you for an exclusive video about like you're pitching in front of the sharks. So you have to record a video and you have to send it to them. Like, and you have to talk only in Hindi. English is not accepted. Every single time, like I make the script. Oh, FemiSafe is a female wellness and hygiene brand. It's very difficult to convert this whole thing into Hindi. Though I know Hindi. Full Hindi, pakka Hindi. Every time like you upload a video where there is even one English word, it automatically gets rejected. So full Hindi, you have to upload the video. After the video was uploaded,
just tell them a snippet of that. It's funny actually.
Yeah, it's like FemiSafe. I forgot how it is. FemiSafe ek aisa. Have you seen Shark Tank?
Yes.
So you see how they pitch, right? Like FemiSafe. So and so एक ऐसा ब्रांड है. So the same thing. FemiSafe एक ऐसा ब्रांड है जो महिलाओं की व्यक्तिगत देखभाल, it is all like that.
It's actually funny.
व्यक्तिगत देखभाल और मासिक स्वच्छता का योगदान करता है. So मासिक स्वच्छता is menstrual hygiene basically. व्यक्तिगत देखभाल is personal hygiene. So I had to translate each word into Hindi. पूरे English word बोले मानना you get rejected. അങ്ങനെ video അയച്ചു. I think ഒരു 1 month time. This whole process started happening in last May. ഒരു 1 month കഴിഞ്ഞ് I think June they got back to us saying that we are selected and you have to choose which location you want your audition. So there are 2 auditions, in-person audition, rendered. One is the final one, which we see the pitch, and the other semi-final. So we got Bangalore. It was like fundamentally Indian Idol country, sticker on the board, etc. Then you have to go, you have to pitch again in front of the camera. You're pitching. So there are 2 people from Sony TV. They are the creative heads. You have to pitch in front of them. They already know about your business. Same, we Shark Tank pitching, products. You have to talk only in Hindi. every time an English word comes, like in Hindi I can talk because I was born in modern movement. But Naseef jab pareva financials pareva English like 1 CR or whatever. You have to say 1 crore. The moment you speak English, there's like camera cut. Again, you have to do from there. And then they kind of understood. They were like, okay, fine, it's okay. Like whoever is okay to pitch can pitch. Pitch and then they said like between August to July audition. August to December is the time frame where you will receive a call from them saying you're selected for the final pitch. So our time frame, if you don't receive any call, that means you're not selected and you can probably apply the next time. If you get a call, then they'll take you. So how the process is like, Bombay and final audition, Yash Studios. They'll take you there 3 days on the audition. So you'll have grooming session. 3 days of grooming. And then on a final picture, so there'll be a financial analyst who will actually ask questions just like the shark. But you will not be able to see any of the sharks. But a washroom, the Sony people will assist you when you're in the studio practicing. Then accommodation, everything. If you're outside Mumbai, they'll provide everything. So it's actually, once you get to the final, it's a smooth process. And normally on the Shark Tank, we'll half an hour episode. They're actually on stage, it takes around 45 minutes, 1 hour.
It takes up to 2 hours.
Yeah, it takes up to 2 hours. Pitching is amount. That's cut short, final.
നമ്മൾ കാണുന്നുണ്ട് ആൾക്കാർ പോകുന്നു 10 മിനിറ്റ് പൈസ വാങ്ങിക്കുന്നു വരുന്നു. ഇറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് ലൈക്ക് ദാറ്റ്. ഓൾമോസ്റ്റ് 2 hours അവിടെ ഉണ്ടാവും. അതിന്റെ കട്ട് ചെയ്ത് 10 minutes നമുക്ക് കാണിക്കും. അതിൻ്റെ അകത്ത് തന്നെ പൈസ അപ്പം തന്നെ വരില്ല. ഇറ്റ് ടേക്സ് ഓൾമോസ്റ്റ് 6 months. അവർ നമ്മളെ പറഞ്ഞ ഓരോ സാധനം വി ഹാവ് ടു ബി വെരി കെയർഫുൾ വാട്ട് യു ടെൽ ദർ. ഓരോ സാധനം പ്രോപ്പർ ഡ്യൂ ഡിലിജൻസ്. അവർ നമ്മൾ ഇതുവരെ എല്ലാ സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെൻറ്റും നമ്മൾ സോഷ്യൽ മീഡിയ നോക്കും, നമ്മൾ ബ്ലോഗ്സ് നോക്കും, വാട്ട് എവർ അവൈലബിൾ നമ്മളെ കുറിച്ചുള്ള PR ഒക്കെ നോക്കിയിട്ട് ഓൺലി ഇഫ് ദേ ആർ സാറ്റിസ്ഫൈഡ് ദേ വിൽ റൈറ്റ് യു ദി ചെക്ക്.
And your social media is a huge factor. Like in FemiSafe and Instagram page ഒക്കെ അവർ ചെക്ക് ചെയ്യും, like what are we telling. അപ്പം നമ്മൾ അവരുടെ പോയിട്ട് ഓഡിഷനിൽ പറഞ്ഞ സംഭവം നമ്മൾ ഫോമിൽ ഫിൽ ചെയ്ത സംഭവം സെയിം ആണെന്ന് അവർ നോക്കും. If it is not same, because they already have the entire detail when you're going to audition. So if there is even slightly, ചിലപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് റെവന്യൂസ് ഒക്കെ മാറിയ പ്രശ്നമല്ല, ബിക്കോസ് 2 മാസം കഴിഞ്ഞാണ് ഓഡിഷൻ, ആ ഒരു ടൈമിൽ റെവന്യൂ മാറുമായിരിക്കും. ബട്ട് അല്ലാതെ നമ്മുടെ ബേസിക് സംഭവങ്ങൾ നമ്മൾ എന്തെങ്കിലും മാറ്റി പറഞ്ഞാൽ they will catch you right in it. So you have to be very careful. പിന്നെ whichever shark is investing, they have their whole team, CA team, to do due diligence, which will go up to 6 months. 6 months കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഈ ഒരു എമൗണ്ട് നമുക്ക് കിട്ടും. What do you think? Okay, check directly you get the money. That's not the whole process. It takes a lot of time.
They will check your marketplace. Amazon link in the review and Flipkart link. If a review is bad, they can even reject you for.
I think number audition and when they asked us like products, we said our face razor is number in top 10. Our up then checking if it is in top 10. If it's in top 10, like yeah, we just checked. So every single thing you say, number product ever the manufacturer, you have to tell them the truth, because Kalavar and audition they have a laptop with internet connection. They check everything. Then they found a background. They'll check like namala parameter fake aano, namala website nokum, namala story. Website obviously will have about the story, right? If it is matching everything.
I think more than revenue, they look for TRP.
Yeah.
TRP element. നല്ല soft story ഉണ്ടോ, rack to riches ആണോ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ some emotional സാധനങ്ങളുണ്ടോ. So അവർ ബിസിനസ്സിനെക്കാൾ നോക്കുന്ന അങ്ങനത്തെ കുറേ സാധനങ്ങളുണ്ട്.
Emotional story ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ
ഷാർക്ക് ടാങ്കിൽ പോയ സമയത്ത് നമുക്ക് ബ്രാൻഡിങ് വിസിബിലിറ്റി വന്നു, നമുക്ക് റെവന്യൂ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു, but we didn't do much branding. All the awards, all the talks, everything happened after Shark Tank actually. Like നമുക്ക് branding കൂടി ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു, it was much easier to get through. So that's when I realized the power of branding. No amount of revenue will make you superstar until you have strong branding. Branding is like SEO, it will pay in long term. Initially, but it's mandatory.
But revenue is also important. But because there are a lot of brands which are just, yesterday we were discussing, so he said like there are a lot of brands which is just a balloon, like only branding is not. You need to have both, but branding and
that's like my biggest advice for all the people who want to start. Strike a balance between revenue and branding. That's important. Korea revenue and branding illegally can't sustain. The moment you turn off your Facebook ads, you're boom. So you have to parallelly build a brand. Over the period, you should get the revenue without any performance marketing. At least a sustained general revenue. So branding is like SEO. Keep doing it. Result don't stop. Any mass brand result. No. Do it as long as you are in the brand or the brand exists. It's a non-negotiable stuff, at least for now.
That's great. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I think it's almost 1 hour. Is there anything that you want to?
Get started. You will figure out. Everything perfect. Get started. You can always learn on the go. നമ്മൾ എത്രയും സമയം വേസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നു അത്രയും സമയം നമുക്ക് ലൂസ്.
Other things, yes, you need to be mentally prepared or whatever. But if you are an aspiring, passionate entrepreneur, just start. As I said, pivoting to it because there is one failure story that we've not mentioned it. FemiSafe started it was going good. 1 year and we were like, okay, skincare. I was a very skincare enthusiast, so we started with skincare. We started a brand. It was going good, the products were good, everything was good. But the problem was our focus was being diverted. When content creation I am confused. FemiSafe like when I see other brands, other skincare brands doing, I think now we have to spend on this, we have to spend on this. So the focus like FemiSafe also started going down. So we side
ഞാൻ ആദ്യം പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ പേർപ്പസ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. നമ്മളൊരു ഫോം പോലെ തുടങ്ങിയതാണ്. സോ പേർപ്പസ് ഇല്ലെന്ന് വി വൈൻഡ് അപ്പ്. നമ്മൾ അധികം സൺ കോസ്റ്റ് വെച്ച് ആവണ്ട വെച്ചിട്ട് within 8 months we winded up.
Like maybe ഒരു FemiSafe exit എന്തെങ്കിലും കിട്ടിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ maybe we can go back to that. But as of now, like focus on that.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, guys. It was really a pleasure, great, and I'm really sure, like, budding entrepreneurs or like anyone who want to understand the space would gain a lot of insights. Thank you so much, and
thank you so much for having us.
Great.